To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. Okay, so I'm back at the tiny house build again today, and we're just ahead of a winter storm. Tomorrow I think it's supposed to be snowing and terrible temperatures. I've been working really hard, Carolyn and I both have, to get this place in some sort of condition before the winter storm hits. I think we're about there. There's one little project that I want to do today. I want to put a vent here. It's not a vent, it's an intake to the wood stove. So I got to cut another hole in the wall, and I tell you, that's the most depressing thing. You spend all this time building the wall and then you have to cut holes in it. So I'm going to do a pipe from the wall, through the wall, into the back of the stove. The back of the stove has an intake that it feeds oxygen from. You see, I keep this door cracked right now so the stove has plenty of air. But I've noticed that the flame kind of dies down if I don't have this window opened as well. So I mean, it's really pulling in quite a bit of oxygen to burn well. I figure, and a lot of the commenters do also, that once I get this intake pipe installed, the stove's going to do much better. I really do hope so. I am running a little bit of wet wood. You should know that by now. It's supposed to have 20% moisture content in the middle of the wood. I'm running about 23%. I read an article that said don't go over 25. So that's the max you can go. So I've been really hunting and pecking. But you can see here that this piece of wood just isn't going to go. It's too wet. So I got a little flickering flame there. So in order to do any better, I would either have to open the door or put more wood in it. So it's a waste of wood, in my opinion, not to have wood that is less than 20%. Because it just burns just out of hand now. There's no way of controlling it. So when you close the door, you see that flame popped open when I had the door open? When you close the door, then it slows down. So I'm hoping the vent will help out a little bit, the intake pipe. Okay, so yesterday I told you that we got a bed. Carolyn actually took the time yesterday to put it together. I had to work, of course, and I've been working so late that I'm really trying to catch up. So Carolyn got the bed put in, and I'm telling you, as soon as that went in there, it just made it feel like a home. It really does kind of show what kind of room that we have available in here. So we have a path in here. Of course, we still got some materials that we got to get out. And then we have my desk that Carolyn made out of the pallet wood with a nice little path over here. Of course, there'll be a chair there. And then the kitchen will start at the desk and move over to the wood stove here. It's not very far, probably 6 feet, maybe 5 feet. One of the things that Carolyn was adamant on was she wanted to leave the refrigerator down at the camper. And each day we'd go down and get our food out of it. And I've been trying to talk her out of it quite a bit. But I was okay with it, whatever she wanted to do. In the wintertime, it would have been more difficult because every now and then I would actually have to heat the camper up so the wood stove would kick on, because once the temperature gets below 40 degrees, the refrigerator doesn't want to kick on. So you have to really monitor the meat in the freezer to see when it's going to thaw out. You want to heat the camper up above 40 degrees so it will refreeze. I mean, it's more off-grid work, that's all it is. Well, now that she sees how much room she has available and she's come up with ideas, she said, let's bring the fridge up. So her idea is we'll put the little mini fridge, that's all it is, just apartment size fridge. It has its own independent door for a freezer. It's a very nice one. And she is going to make a countertop to the desk. So on top of the fridge, all the way over to the desk is going to be a countertop. So as you know, we're going to put a sink inside the shower. Now it's going to be one of those laundry tub type of sinks. And so what will happen is we won't have faucets. She'll use this or on-demand water heater to wash her dishes or do laundry or whatever the case is. And then all she's got to do is open the drain to the sink, and of course it'll just drain right into the shower and down the drain. And so when we don't want the sink, all we have to do is take it out, possibly put it on the porch. And she said that she'll probably just leave the sink on the porch in the summertime anyways. There's no reason to bring it in. Now, we're going to buy a gas little apartment stove that has an oven, and it's going to go out on the porch as well. So her kitchen will be outside basically. Now, like I said, I got a family member coming up today. Today, he's going to bring up a canopy, one of those things you go camping with. It's 10 foot by 10 foot or something like that. He said he didn't open it up. It might have rips or something, but we might have to put a tarp on it. It'll be handy until I get a roof put on this thing. We're not going to put a roof on it on the porch until springtime. So that'll give us at least a temporary place so Carolyn can still have her kitchen outside during this time of the season. We think the stove gets hot enough that we can boil coffee in our percolator coffee pot and different things. Carolyn thinks that she'll be able to make a lot of stews and different things on this. It does get really hot. I put a bottle of water on it the other day to thaw it out because it was frozen outside, and it thawed it out within a couple minutes. And I know, oh, you can't do that, you're gonna melt the bottle. I've actually got a video where I showed you that you can put a bottle over an open flame full of water and it will boil the water. Yes, I know it's not, the bottles are chemicals and, we can find every reason what's gonna kill us, but you know what? Nobody's gonna survive it anyways. So let's just be happy while we're getting there. So yeah, last night I was able to take a shower in the shower. It was amazing. It was great. It felt wonderful. Lots of room. Water heater kicked right on. Everything worked perfectly. And then when I came out to get dressed, I started to sit on the bed. Now, you're not allowed to sit on it or put sheets on it or anything for 72 hours. The reason is, when they ship it, it's all squished together. They shrink wrap it and suck, I guess, suck all the air out of it. And so it's got to have time to expand. It's a 10-inch bed. Right now, it's maybe 7 inches, maybe. It's supposed to take 24 to 72 hours to expand out. And I know that's true. We've had these before. Really looking forward to getting up here, possibly this weekend, or this is what, Thursday, so maybe Monday at the latest. I'm going to get started and put a hole in the wall there and wait for my family member to get here. Okay, I'm using this flexible, expandable pipe. I bought it at Home Depot. It comes in like a 3 or 4 feet length, but then when you stretch it out, it comes out to 8 feet. Now, I already used half of this when I ran my ventilation from my water tank box to the inside of the house. And so what that ventilation does is allow hot air from the house to go into the water tank box and heat that up enough so it doesn't freeze. Well, at least that's my goal. Cold as it's supposed to get here in the next few days, that may be a challenge, but we're gonna give it a try. So this one, I was able to cut it in half and use this piece for the wood stove. The challenge is to get it through the wall without ripping it. I think this must be aluminum, and the first time I tried it, boy, I mean, it just ripped and ripped and ripped. I mean, I have a better idea how to do it now so it doesn't rip, but if it rips, then I got a hole in the wall and I don't have anything to put in it. Okay, so I got the intake pipe hooked up to the stove, got it through the wall, and I do think it made a difference. It really does bring a lot more air in, I guess. It's just more direct air. It's interesting. I mean, I pulled it out and it's automatically just starting to flame up really quick. So that makes a big difference. I'm glad I got that done. So on the outside, of course, I had to caulk around it and everything, and everything takes a lot of thinking, it seems like, when you're trying to rig things up like this and you've never done it before. So I ended up having to put 2 screws in it to hold it in place, and then I caulked around it. I might be able to clean that up a little bit better after it dries, but it doesn't look too bad. I cleaned it up a little bit with some wet wipes. One more thing I want to get done before it gets real cold is I haven't finished my box yet over here. It's really windy, and I want to get this covered up a little bit. So I'm just going to trim the insulation so it fits correctly. Then I'm just going to put a piece of plywood over it and then put a tarp over it. Then I don't have to worry about this getting too cold and well, it still may freeze, but I'm going to try to minimize the amount of freezing it does. And then one other thing I got to do is I have this computer fan that blows into that box. I don't have that hooked up just yet. That won't be very hard to hook up, but I got to put that in back here under this ventilation, which you're not gonna be able to see with the coat and everything in the way. I'm so glad I got this done. So if something happens down in the camper where we can't make it out there, with this big storm. I mean, the wind's already picking up. You can tell it's coming. So if the Franklin wood stove that I built out here, the outdoor wood heat exchanger, can't keep up with the temperatures that are coming, then you know, we can come up here. Even if the bed's not ready to sleep on, you know, we can sleep on the floor or something probably. It is really nice, the dream coming together like this. I never thought, I really didn't, that I could have a little piece of paradise all myself. I always thought that I was gonna work myself to death. And so here I am, 49, coming up on 50 next year. Well, I guess this year. I've never felt better. I'm in really good shape. This lifestyle forces us to wake up every morning and do something, whether it's to split wood or pull wood up, or it requires us to get up off sitting down and laying down all day, doing nothing, and do something. So I hope I can inspire you to find your happiness while getting in shape. Thanks for watching.